Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, a hearty good morning to you in this holiday season here as we go on a Thursday, getting ready for a big football game this weekend at Raymond James Stadium. It's a playoff game. It is a division championship game. I cannot wait. The Lightning last night get a very, very disheartening loss, and I'll tell you why. It may be something that's a little bit more staying than I would like. It maybe portend some moves at the deadline. We will talk about that as the Lightning lose to the Panthers last night. The Florida State Orange Bowl situation is now become the absolute microcosm of what the F is wrong with college football right now. It is a freaking disaster on so many levels. Stuart Mandel wrote a piece in the Atlantic or the Athletic that I have to take umbrage with in some ways. So we will do that as well. And we'll get into some other NFL stuff. Good morning to you, Tim Hamm from our Dallas affiliate, DSP Media. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Good morning, JP, from a sunny 41-degree DFW, Frisco, Texas, where the weather is sketchy, the women are sketchier, and our football is mediocre.
Yeah, well,
but here you go.
Well, listen, you're going to get an all-expense-paid trip to Tampa pretty soon, it looks like, my friend, to get your ass handed to you.
You know,
bring it on, Cowboys.
You might not be wrong.
I think that would be, as much as we have such great history with Philadelphia, and I am so far ahead of myself here, like with this juggernaut Buccaneers team winning the final two games. Oh, really? Like we're already penciled that in. We're such prisoners of the moment, right?
Well, you should.
Come on, it's the NFL. Are you freaking kidding me? That's what I'm trying to temper people's expectations. It's like, oh, we're going to beat the Saints. Are you really? That's in the bag. I mean, the Bucs have played well these last 2 weeks, but have we not forgot this is the same team that lost 6 of 7 that couldn't score against the Panthers for most of the game. I mean, it has a coach that has a proclivity for becoming, the ultimate safety dancer and going back into a shell as a coach. I mean, are we sure that he's going to continue to coach aggressively? I don't know. I sure hope so. He's seen the results. Pretty good. Looks pretty good, but I've seen him regress before. And I'm trying to be Debbie Downer. I'm just being realistic. I mean, you look across the NFL. I mean, the 49ers are going to crush the Ravens. Oh, okay. That didn't happen so well. The Raiders and the Chiefs. Oh, my God, it's not even a game. Oh, shocking development. I mean, all across the Giants damn near beat the Eagles.
It's a weird league, man.
It's week to week, bro. It's week to week. It's quarter to quarter. And that's why I'm telling people, like, hold on. So the Saints, a team that you've beaten, 3 times in a row now in the regular season. Yeah. And it's, you don't usually do that. Their season is on the line. They get a pretty damn good defense. It's a rivalry game. I mean, the Bucs are, you've won 4 in a row. You're feeling good about yourself. But if you are penciling yourself in as NFC South champions, now you only got to win one of the two. Then if you lose this one, you go to Carolina and you got to win it. Look, to me, if you can't do that, I mean, it is on a tee for you, baby. It is on a tee for you. And if you can't slap this over the 220-foot fence, Little League fence, you suck. I mean, you don't deserve to be in the playoffs, and I wouldn't want to be in the playoffs because that would be embarrassing. So, look, do I think they're going to take care of business this week? This is a tough game. I mean, anybody who is putting this one in the win column just doesn't know Saints-Bucs rivalry history. You just don't know what you got to be able to. Yeah, anything can happen, especially in this game. Now, should the Bucs win? I mean, yeah, they're playing really good football. No Michael Thomas, no Lattimore. That's a big blow for the Saints.
Is Carr playing?
Fortunately, yes, he will be playing. Yes,
I was going to say, well, there you go.
Yeah. But even he has played a little bit better of late. He's played a little bit better of late. So this is by no means a layup game, and I don't. And most Buck fans are treating it as such, and it's not. It's anything but. Right. It's a coin flip game, and Baker Mayfield has to come out and stay aggressive. The Bucs need to run the football like they've been doing it, and need to stay aggressive defensively and get after Carr. I mean, they've got some weapons, but this is a team that, the Bucs can at home in this situation should beat if you're a playoff team. And if they can, and here's the whole thing, if they can continue this role and play like they have been playing and stay aggressive in the coaching standpoint from defensively and offensively, yeah, as we talked about last week, suddenly this NFC is wide freaking open. I mean, even the 49ers that look like world beaters, hell, the Bucs were within a score late in that game, which is crazy. And they didn't look so hot against the Ravens. And Brock Purdy is suddenly throwing more interceptions. Now, I know 3 of those 4 interceptions were tip balls, maybe not on him, but he's lost a little bit of his mojo. There ain't no doubt about that. Now, listen,
just because it's a tip ball doesn't mean it ain't on the quarterback, because those throws were not accurate, man. He had a couple that were behind the receiver. Yeah, trust me, I've learned this with Dak, watching Dak Prescott the last 7-8 years. Okay, it doesn't mean it's not his fault.
I would say 2 of the 4 were on him.
Probably,
but there was another one that was dropped. So it can go a lot of different ways. But he did not play well, and there's a reason why Shanahan did not put him back into the game.
Yeah,
his confidence, I think, without question, is probably a little bit shaken. So, but I still think the 49ers are the best team in the NFC, and I still think that the championship goes through San Francisco. The Eagles are a shell of the team they once were. They're not good defensively. Their secondary is awful. Offensively, they make mistakes. Jalen Hurts makes mistakes. So they're suddenly a very beatable team. The Cowboys, well, you can tell me about the Cowboys, Tim. How's that going? How about them Cowboys?
You know what? The Cowboys have all the confidence like they always do every week going into every game. We're the Cowboys. Y'all got to come up and beat us. Well, Jerry, if you're and Mike McCarthy, if you're on the road, you're probably going to get beat. Even though that Miami game literally could have gone either way, right? Yes. 22-20, a last-second field goal. You kind of knew it was going to come down to whoever had the ball last.
Yep.
I predicted a defensive game. Even though these are 2 high-powered offenses, the defenses are equally good. And to me, when you've got 2 good offenses and 2 good defenses, the defenses are going to win out.
Yeah, I agree.
And I predicted a low-scoring, if you want to call 22-20, for those 2 teams, that's a low-scoring game. But, that could have gone either way. I was impressed a little bit with the way the Cowboys played out there on the road. I was impressed a little bit with Dak. Tell you what, I'm more impressed, and I love this dude as a coach. Mike McDaniel, I love this dude, man.
Yeah.
I absolutely love his moxie. I hate the stupid pants that he wears on the sideline. But, dude, as a coach.
Joggers? You're not a friend
whatever the hell those capri thing women's pants are that he wears that don't even go to his ankles.
Come on, I got some joggers. What are you talking
about? I get it. It's South Beach, whatever. Go be comfortable.
Hey, listen, you won't hear me defending the glitz and glam of Miami.
But, dude, he outcoached Mike McCarthy that day. And for, a second-year head coach to do that to McCarthy, I think this is a star on the rise, man. And he may be in Miami for a long time. I've never been a big Tua guy, but Tua's shown me a little something this year, and if you want to credit that to Mike McDaniel, then, he probably deserves it.
Yeah.
But, the Cowboys are the Cowboys. They're going to have a road game probably in Tampa Bay. And depending on how the Bucs enter that game health-wise and how they're playing. And, dude, I might pick, if it was tomorrow, the playoffs started tomorrow and Dallas was going to Tampa Bay, I might pick the Bucs right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Bucs are, they're following their leader in Baker Mayfield, who has really picked up his play in the last couple of games since that sack fumble where he held the ball in Green Bay. In the 2 previous games, he did not play great, but he got off the floor and won both games, especially that Atlanta game with a couple of big throws late. That was a turning point. And then I think against the Packers, and I asked him this after the game, after that moment, have you trusted your receivers more? And he said, yeah. He goes, it's like I had to. We got, he goes, I got to let it go. I just got, and I was talking to Sal Palantonio, and they're going to have a segment this week where Darius Butler breaks down a certain quarterback or a certain aspect of the game on the NFL matchup show. And this week it's Baker Mayfield. And he just did the show. He was on with us yesterday, and he talked about how Darius said, here's Baker 3 weeks ago. Guys are open. He's holding the ball. And this is what I was talking about a month ago. I was like, Baker is not playing well. He's not seeing the field. He's not letting it go. Guys are open on the break, and he's not throwing the ball. And it seemed like right after that moment, the next pass he threw was a skinny post to, I think, to Mike Evans in about a hole this big. And I said, damn, wow, that was a throw. That was, I don't give a shiz. That's where the ball needs to be thrown. This is the NFL. It's time to let it rip. And then he threw about 15 more over the middle just like it during that game. Yeah. And he got his confidence, and he carried it over into the Jaguars game. And that's what Darius Butler's breaking down this week of how he is now sticking his foot in the ground and letting it rip. And Baker at his best is, and I think you even mentioned this last week, Tim, he's a gunslinger, right? I think that's you said that last week, and that really resonated with me. And I'm like, yeah, he's not a hold the ball, be afraid of the interception guy. He's not that guy. And that's who he was playing like. Yeah. Because, Canales has said turnovers are killers. We're not going to do that. And I think you can get that too much in a quarterback's head because, you can't play safe and win in the NFL. You can't do it. You can't do it. Unless you got, a Ravens, Buccaneers 2002 defense, you can't do it. This league is made for points, and you got to score points, and you got to take chances to score points. And I think Baker now they got to that point. When you get to the ledge where it's either win or go home, what do you got left to do? Let it rip. Let it rip. And he has found something. And this is a dangerous team right now because with the receivers they have, with Godwin and Evans, when you're hitting it, and Rachaad White, by the way, when you're hitting those guys in stride, now suddenly you're getting a lot of yak because that's what this offense is made for. Get guys open in space, let them catch it in stride and rip it up the seam. And that's what we're seeing. So, this is it's all coming together for the Buccaneers. Now, this going into the playoffs last year, they sucked. We knew they were going to get their asses handed to them by Dallas. We just knew it. They were playing poorly defensively. The offense, it was either Tom Brady in the last 5 minutes or it was nothing. Yeah. It was just awful. And this team is so much better than last year's team, especially right now. This Buccaneers team is so much better offensively than the Bucs were last year with Brady. So much better defensively now that Devin White has decided, maybe I should play in a contract year. Wow. Eureka. Pretty smart.
He had an interception, right?
He had an interception on the first drive.
Yeah.
He drops back and makes reaches up in the snatch interception, just a great play. And, also had two or three pressures, a sack. Yeah. The typical nobody blocks him. He runs by the quarterback, but at least he flushed him into somebody else. But, he was moving and grooving. And when he's running around with his hair on fire and you're just sending him, you either send him or to me, that's the only thing he does really well. Right. He can't play the run worth a shit. And that's the way you use Devin White, but that's where he's at his best. So they have found the sweet spot for everybody. And now they've got Yaya Diaby in the right spot. He's playing and starting now over JTS. Aaron Stinney over Matt Filer at left guard, who was just awful. That whole thing of bringing that guy in was just a dumpster fire of an idea. They've got most of the guys, Delaney is playing safety now. Zion McCullum's getting a lot more reps. Cansey is really, really starting to come on and learning how to leverage his small body in the NFL and where he can play and where he can get. So he's really learning. Vita Vea is getting a little healthier, which is good. Levante David is, I don't watch every other linebacker in the league, but if there's a better linebacker in this league, especially in the over 30 category, show him to me because he's just playing fantastic football.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where the Bucs are really not good right now is at the corner spot. And that's weird because you're paying Jamel Dean and Carlton Davis III a lot of money, and both of them have been terrible. I mean, the Bucs have the worst pass defense in the league right now statistically. They're 32nd. And they're giving up a lot of passing yards. But a lot of that came earlier in the season. And a lot of it has come not as consequential as it should be. So, they're getting plays, they're making interceptions, and they're getting sacks. If you allow a lot of yards, but you get those game-changing plays, then, you can survive if you're scoring points, which, of course, they're scoring points now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this last few weeks shakes out, because I think this game this week is certainly not a gimme. And then whoever comes in here week 1 is suddenly not a world beater. I mean, we were all just like, okay, even when we make it to the playoffs, this team's not beating anybody. It's like, well, that's changed.
Yeah.
That's changed. So, and hey, it's the NFL. And now I'm sitting there with my little $25 bet to win $2,500 on the Bucs winning the NFC Championship going,
Looks a little better now, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'll probably make what was forget what is that? I'll probably make 700 or 800 on them winning the South, which I better cash on that.
Right.
I went over for Godwin 850 yards. That was a layup for the season. And then the 6 wins was probably the easiest bet on the board preseason. Bucs more than 6 wins.
I remember talking about that. Yeah.
That was a layup. As was the under last night in the Bolts game, which we will transition. You guys got questions, by the way. You want to talk some Bucs? Please jump aboard here. By the way, 10:30, Brian Bradley is going to join us to talk some Bolts. 11 o'clock, Corey Long will join us to talk some college football and Bolts. And then at 11:35, TJ Rives is going to join us and talk some more Buccaneers. So if you got any questions on Bucs, got any questions on Bolts, we'll talk a little bit about Wander Franco as well. Where's Wander? Is the new
Where's Wander? You guys got those t-shirts printed yet?
We should, yeah. Where's Wander? No, I'm not going to go there. Can't really make jokes about his situation. It's just it's sad. It's really, really sad that, the only guy the Rays ever try to spend money on, not that they've actually spent money on him yet. It's still paying him $2 million a year. It's a $180 million contract.
Right.
But again, it's all backloaded where the Rays will, never pay it, just like last now. But, here's the foundation of the franchise. They finally find a guy. They've been been waiting for this guy since they signed him at 16 years old. Right. He gets to the big leagues and he's everything we thought he would be. Little bit of a petulant, a-hole, but maybe he matures out of that. But just an incredible just generational talent. And now this happens. The guy is, wanted for multiple relationships with underage girls.
Yeah, and all that goes beyond baseball. I mean, baseball takes a back seat to anything he's going through with all of that. And
it's just like, I mean, you're a Major League Baseball star. You're a Major League Baseball star. You have all the money in the world, right? And you gotta
pull that. Yeah.
I mean, check an ID. They're waiting on your doorstep. They're lined up. I don't live in that dude's world. I don't understand it, but clearly, and this has been a problem with the Rays. They don't have strong personalities within the organization to mentor these kids. You got a bunch of kids running around with tons of money, and they have no idea what they're doing in life, clearly. Right. And you need strong personalities in the locker room, within the organization. They're going to take them under your wing and mentor these kids. Like, dude, you can't mess around with this stuff. You can't mess around with this stuff. And this is you can handle a 103 mile an hour fastball or the best curveball in the game. You're going to be fine with all that. But this stuff over here, this will get you.
Yeah,
this will get you. You get into the fame life and the women and all that stuff, and it'll get you. And wow.
So the NFL very famously has programs in place for rookies.
Yeah.
For young guys that come into the league, how to manage their money, how to stay away from your posse and your whatever, and how to manage your life, really, now that you've come into money and some fame and fortune. Does Major League Baseball not have anything like that in place, or is that a team by team thing, or do you know? Like,
I don't know of anything.
I've never looked into this.
Yeah, I don't know of anything that's as public as what the NFL does. I mean, because we all know about that.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that question, but it's a really good question, and I'll find out. I think it's more organizationally, frankly, and it probably is one of those things that costs more money. And Stu, that we don't need that. They can handle that themselves. Let the agent do that.
Baseball, you're dealing with even younger kids than, because like you said, sometimes they'll sign these guys at 14, 15, 16. I know they're not in with the organization yet, but they've got a buku of money, at 14, 15, 16, some of these Dominican kids, they're giving them $50,000 or whatever to sign. And their family's never seen that kind of fortune before, and you got relatives that are wanting to grab it, and you would think that would even be more important in Major League Baseball for them to have some sort of system in place where they can monitor these kids and make sure things are going well after the money shows up.
Yeah, and from what we've had Orestes Estrada on, and I've talked to some other people that grew up in the DR as baseball players and were major leaguers, and it's they talk about a culture down there that is it's very, especially for the baseball players. Those Major League Baseball players are deities.
Yeah,
they are, and everybody knows who they are. Everybody knows where they live. Everybody knows where they hang out. It's a very interesting dynamic. And if you think the Big Papi thing was a misidentification, I got a bridge in Arizona to say, it's a different culture down there. It's a lot of organized crime. The players get caught up in some of this stuff, either tangentially or part of it. And I'm not saying Big Papi was part of that. That's not what I'm saying. But this, they tell stories of it ain't like the United States, ain't like the United States used to be. Well, let's just put it that way.
Right.
There's a lot of corruption, a lot of stuff going on. So, it's just a crappy situation. Wanted to hit this comment real quick because I'm not aware of this. Wander Franco should be up to his summoning. It should be occurring now, 11:17 Dominican time. So I guess he's been summoned and he has to show up. So maybe he's going to be arrested at this particular time. I don't know. I hadn't seen that, but
oh wow.
Doesn't surprise me. It's better than being on the run. His houses were raided. It doesn't mean he's on the run, but it means, he wasn't there at the time. Okay. Now show up. And, I guess today he's going to show up. And AJ says, sixth grade education combined with who he surrounds himself with and $4 million at 16 isn't exactly a recipe for morality. Absolutely. Can you imagine getting $4 million at 16 years old? And from what I'm not sure he has a real strong father figure in his life or obviously mentors. And from the very beginning, he was going out buying really expensive cars. He had $200,000 jewelry sitting in his car that got stolen. I mean, it's just a lot of signs of immaturity. And then the way he acted with his teammates, they had to suspend him for God's sakes. I mean, they had to go to the media and tell on him, which was, I've never seen that before in my life, an organization going to the media to and that to me was a sign of, oh man, I think they're trying to get out of this Wander Franco contract.
Right.
And eventually they did. And eventually they're going to get out of this contract. However that plays into it. I mean, don't get me started on that. There's nothing I'll put beyond the Rays to get out of a contract. So it's a crappy situation. It sucks for the fans because here we are again. And, and by the way, somebody else asked about the latest on the stadium situation. From what I'm hearing, and Brian Auld has been very direct about this, is we're not changing the name to the St. Pete Rays. And now the council women and men are all up in arms about, oh, yes, you are. So now we're going to have a pissing match over the public money because of the name of the team. That is such a St. Pete Rays thing to do. And I think this is the perfect, and I've told you this from the beginning, I think the Rays never had any intention of building that stadium there. Their only intention was to get the development rights and make tons of money and bring in Hines, who was bidding before and didn't get the rights, but then came in and the Rays got to buy the land at a discount, right?
Uh-huh.
Now they have their partner in Hines. So now Hines is like, oh, wait, you can get that property at a discount and then we can develop it? Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. And we get all that public money? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. We're back in. And they're like, and remember, the Rays never wanted to be in St. Pete. They said it wasn't a major league city. And then suddenly all that public money popped up and the development rights popped in. It's like, oh, we love St. Pete. Oh, yeah, it's a major league city. It's not even, I mean, come on, you people. Do you not see this? So, yeah, this is the perfect, out for Brian Auld to say, yeah, we were going to do it, but, they forced that name change on us. And of course, we're all about Tampa Bay. We're not going to be, pigeonholed into St. Petersburg to, give this aura of they really care about they care about the area, and they're going to be the noble people who stand up for Tampa Bay instead of St. Petersburg. Oh my God. It's so laughable. It's so laughable. And it's the people in the media, yeah, they're really look at they're standing up for Tampa Bay. It's just
that's why they called them the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. So they were representing the entire region.
Exactly.
They didn't call them the Tampa Devil Rays. They were the Tampa, like the Buccaneers. When the Buccaneers first came into existence, that's why they called them the Tampa Bay, because it was representing the entire region.
Yeah.
So
and
to change the name.
There's people here that, are very provincial. And, since they did it in Miami, since Miami paid for the stadium, they had to be called the Miami Marlins now. So now the St. Petersburg Council is like, well, if we're going to pay for the stadium, then we want St. Pete's name on it. It's like, wow, how small thinking do you have to be it's like egos, and the whole thing is just such a laughable idea. Let's put $1.2 billion of public money, the biggest expenditure in the history of Pinellas and St. Pete, into a failed location for a baseball stadium that the constituents don't even go to. The people of St. Pete don't go to the games. But yet you're going to make, maybe you should build a cruise port, where these big ships that can't get under the skyway, build a cruise port on your coast, on the Pinellas coast somewhere. Maybe that'll bring in more tourists and more dollars than the baseball stadium that nobody goes to. I mean,
that's crazy.
They can have
That's crazy.
They can have. All right, I wanted to get into, and we'll do this more with Corey. The FSU thing is just become laughable. I mean, they are one deep at quarterback. They're now one deep at running back. The second string running back is a walk-on. The second and third string quarterbacks are walk-ons who played like single A football. All right, you're going into a major New Year's Day bowl game. And by the way, Georgia has, I think, 9 guys on their two deep that aren't going to be playing either. Yep. For and they're more injury related. I think they've covered up the opt-outs a little bit better than maybe the Seminoles have. And now FSU is getting all this crap for, your players aren't that dedicated. And I'm like, you guys, this is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in sports. I mean, I'm just being honest about this, because the adults have so failed these kids on so many levels. And they've created a system that has absolutely destroyed college football because they were so effing greedy for so many years that they couldn't put together an equitable system for the players and the coaches and the entire system to figure it out. Not that hard. All you got to do is go pay the players. Well, they didn't want to do that, did they? They wanted to hold on to their sponsorship money and put it in their own pockets and put it in the school's pockets and make athletic directors and commissioners make $8 million a year and all these bloated bureaucracies that go along with it. And everybody's getting paid except the players. You had to keep that intact, right? You greedy both. You had to keep that money. But guess what? Eventually, you're going to get caught up too. And the NIL was the first crack in the armor, because obviously these kids should have their name, image, and likeness ability to make money. Ridiculous. Not even your stupid amateur athlete clause could stop that. And now here we are. And now we've got portal in the middle of a bowl season. So now these players, when they're going to move on, they've got to move on before the bowl games. I mean, how long before the sponsors just go, we're sponsoring this Orange Bowl. We're paying $8 million to put our name on this Orange Bowl. And it's a spring game. Yeah. I mean, what do we do? And this is going to be an embarrassment. And I hope to God, Kirby Smart, he seems like a pretty decent dude, understands what's going on here and calls off the dogs. And just, at some point we'll say, yeah, this is just not right. We should not be doing it to those kids. Most of those kids he recruited, by the way.
Right.
And I think Kirby Smart's a decent man. I think he understands what's going on. But the people that run the SEC are not decent people. And they may have ordered the code red and said, all your players are playing. If they need more money, we'll give them money. I want you to go out there and beat the FSU 75-0. Do not take your foot off the gas pedal. That may happen. The SEC may want to embarrass FSU, because I'm here to tell you, FSU is not going to the SEC. They don't want the SEC because they're aligned with the ESPN, And the SEC doesn't want FSU. I've been telling you this for at least a year. They're not going to the SEC. That bridge is broken. It's burned. It's torched. Right? Was that the A Bridge Too Far, the movie? Remember that one?
Yeah. Yep.
That's the bridge. Yeah.
Yep.
It's blown to smithereens. It ain't happening. Now, Fox wants FSU badly. Fox wants FSU. They want Clemson. They want Miami. And they want North Carolina out of the ACC. Bring them to the Big Ten. Fox will pay, and that makes them a lot more money. It opens up the entire Southeast region for them, all these major markets, and that gives them more money in their pockets. And so it makes it worthwhile. It's estimated that Florida State will bring $100 million in media rights if they get their media rights. And that's what this lawsuit is all about. Stuart Mandel wrote a column today and basically said, Florida State lawyers did not come up with this lawsuit overnight. And I've been telling you this for a year and a half. I know the people involved that have been looking to get out of this grant of rights. We've been talking about it for a while. And this situation with ESPN and the college football playoff gives them even more ammunition for a case that they felt was pretty damn good anyway. Right. So now they're going to go to the court and they're going to get it. They're in a very sympathetic court in Florida. So they'll get a favorable ruling. It will be appealed, obviously. But they're going to win. In my opinion, they're going to win. And that's what this is all about. And anybody who is mad at Florida State for trying to get out of a rights deal that was fraudulently presented and signed by the ACC and ESPN, by the way. And there's a lot of questions about how that negotiation went down.
Yep.
That puts them at a humongous competitive disadvantage to the SEC. So that keeps Clemson and FSU from competing with them. Who does that serve? The SEC? Oh, interesting. Yeah. They want to get out of the deal. And people think, wouldn't you want to if you were in Florida State's place? Oh, shut up, you bunch of whiners. You bad for Paul Feinbaum. You stay in your place, Florida State, you renegades. Why are you complaining? Why are we complaining? Would you be complaining, Paul, if you were making half of what all your competitors are making? Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would. So all this vitriol directed at FSU for them trying to improve their station and be competitive with the big boys. I mean, think about it. Every one of you would do the same damn thing. So, I mean, it's just and most of this narrative is being carried by ESPN, obviously.
Yep.
Because that's in their best interest. That's their narrative. And I'm shame on Stuart Mandel for buying in for some of that crap as well. And he said the SEC already has Florida, the flagship university of the state of Florida. I'm like, bro, it's 2023. In 1975, that you could say that, and not in 2023. Okay, go look at the research dollars. Go look at how hard it is to get into FSU comparative to Florida. It's pretty comparable. All the academic stuff is pretty comparable. So please grow up into the 2020s. It's a little different now. So anyway,
flagship, huh?
Yeah, all flagship right. University. Yeah, how 1973 is that?
Yeah,
Jesus. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to get into the Bolts last night. And Brian Bradley and I were chatting last night about a certain thing, and John Cooper kind of backed it up in his post-game comments as well, that this Lightning team might be missing. So we'll hit that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES, lawgroup.com. Scott Jeeves is busy at work right now at his desk, maybe in the St. Pete office, maybe in the Tampa office. He's a local guy with local attorneys here who know the landscape here locally and will get you a great settlement or take it to trial and get you a bigger settlement. That's what they do at the Jeeves Law Group. Keep it local. Keep it with folks that you know and trust. And that's Scott Jeeves and the Jeeves Law Group. JEEVES lawgroup.com. Back in 3. Stay with me. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees. And don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the patio and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the patio.
Hey guys, are you experiencing those feelings of getting older, lower sex drive, fatigue, hot flashes, moodiness, or you just don't feel like you had the vitality you once had? It's a chronic problem here in the United States. You're not just getting old, it's likely low testosterone. Studies over the last 20 years show a shocking decline in younger males aged 16 to 39. Older men have seen a sharp decline as well, so do something about it. Go see my friend Christopher Lugo at Bay Area Modern Medicine. Look, testosterone replacement is not a frivolous treatment. It takes a professional, targeted approach that focuses on total body wellness, vitality, and emotional stability, not a one-size-fits-all approach like many clinics use. They will monitor your blood work and adjust your treatment as needed for optimal results. Folks, I've been on testosterone therapy for over 6 years, and it is a life changer. You will feel and look better than you did 10 years ago. Give them a call at 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. Tell them JP sent you for priority scheduling. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
Oh, gosh, we got a situation developing here. So,
we do. My bad.
All right, so we have some fun. This is going to be fun.
I had no idea.
We did this with Chief a couple weeks ago.
Oh, really? I was wondering about that.
And it worked. So Bradley's on the clock. So Brian Bradley, and God bless him. I love him and his wife, Carrie. They don't do social media. They're so smart. They're so they're just like, for the most part, they're very old school, right? And so that's why we always have Brian on the phone because he doesn't know, the StreamYard stuff and how to do the link, and that wants no part of it. And I get it. So our phone system is not working right now. So I sent him the link, and there he is. There he is. He popped in. Oh, and I see, Carol, are we going to be able to do this? There he is. I see him. Let's bring him on. Come on, Tim. Pop him up. Can we hear him? All right. There he is. There's the man. Can you hear us, Brian?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes. You look great, man.
This.
Look at this. We hooked him up on StreamYard.
This is ridiculous. I've never did this before.
He never did this before.
Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. Hey, Chief did it. Just same situation. The Chief said, all right, Jesus, let me see if I can do this. He popped it up. So you guys, I'm bringing you into the 21st century, man. You guys are doing great. This is fun. We can see you. We see your handsome face. You're on the TV show. Look at you. It's fantastic. Yeah. All right. I don't think he loves it, but we're going to do it anyway. All right. So let's talk about last night's game. And it was interesting because I heard Cooper, and we'll play this a little later in the show, talk about, that the emotion wasn't there last night, that he had thought, the Panthers came in here, cross-state rivals, on your home ice, and they beat you. And you and I were kind of talking about, it where's the fire on this team that we've seen in years past. And you said something interesting. It's like, was Maroon and Perry were two of the guys that really, really kind of got these guys going. Is that something that they might be missing a little bit? What do you think?
Yeah, JP. I mean, you know what? I mean, it's just rumors or me speculating, but I've heard a lot of different players and people talk about, in the past, when the Lightning need to get off their asses and get into the game, get things going. I mean, you know what? Patty Maroon, who won 3 Stanley Cups, one with us, or one with St. Louis, 2 with us, and then Perry was really good, a Stanley Cup winner too. So they really got the guys. When things weren't going well, you know what? They really got the guys energized and ready to go. And I mean, sometimes you need guys like that. And I mean, I'll tell you this. Probably before Patty Maroon and that we had, Coleman, Yanni Gordon, Blake, and Barclay Gaudreau.
Yeah.
I mean, line was the best third line probably ever in hockey. I mean, you know what? Things weren't going well. Like last night, that line would have got the crowd going. They would have been hitting guys. They would have got everybody into the game. And it would have changed the whole thing. It's almost like, you know what? And I wanted to talk about this a couple of games ago. It was almost when Brendan Hagel had that fight against Las Vegas. That fight, I don't care what anybody says. That was amazing to watch. We were not in the game. I think we were down 2-0, not even playing good. Vegas was all over us. Brendan Hagel got into a fight. I think the guy cross-checked Cirelli in the boards.
Yeah.
Brendan Hagel, to me, was first, second, and third star of the game for what he did. I mean, he got the crowd energized. He's got the teammates energized. And we went out and came back and beat 1-5-4 over Vegas. So to me, that's like a turning point. There's guys that can do that, and there's guys that can't. Your star players, yeah, they play every game, and they do put up points, but they're not the Energizer bunnies. They're not the guys rah-rahs in the dressing room. You have to have other guys that can do that. And like I said, that third line was so special back in the day when we won the back-to-back cups, and, Patty Maroon coming in and Corey Perry at certain points, they were definitely key players in the dressing room to, hey guys, we need to wake the F up. We're not playing that now. Now, who's doing that right now? I don't know who's doing it, but we'll, like we talked about last night's game, like to me, the morning skate was really good. Yeah, I watched the morning skate. The Lightning skated. The Panthers skated. You could feel the tension in the air, like something was going on. It was going to be a big game. But I just, Panthers came in. They got up 2-0 lead. They lulled us to sleep. And you know what? We really didn't come out with a lot of grit and a lot of fire, a lot of snot in our noses. And you know what? Turning it up at certain times, maybe in the third period. But it was just like for a – I remember when we played back in the day, Toronto, Montreal, or I played in the Battle of Alberta where Calgary plays Edmonton. Well, holy crap. There was 3 fights in the first 5 seconds of the game. And I'm telling you, if you didn't have your helmet buckled down, you're getting your head popped off because it was a Battle of Alberta. And you knew going into the game, you could feel it in the crowd, in the tension and warm up. And, I really thought something like that could happen. I mean, but it just never did. We just played. Kind of like we were playing a team in the West, like we don't see Phoenix. It felt like we were playing Phoenix last night. There was nothing happening.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't see this as a criticism of the Lightning, by the way, and I think this is why John Cooper brought it up last night. These are things that, you need, because I think there's guys on this team that can do that, and I think there's guys on this team that can play those roles, but maybe they don't feel like they have the gravitas to do it. They haven't been here long enough. Whatever it is. And I think if you bring it out and you talk about it, some of these guys may be like, well, I can do that. That's my thing. I can go do that. I'm going to go do that. And so and I think this is why Cooper brought it up last night. He wants to see more emotion out of this team. He wants to see some more piss off out of this team. And you're absolutely right. Last night was like, if you don't do it against the Panthers after 3 days off from Christmas, and, it's an important game in terms of the standings, you're either going to go up a point on them or be down 3, and now you're down 3 to them as a 4-point night. I mean, I think that's what Coop was saying. If not now, when, boys? Let's go. I mean, there needs to, and I was expecting that too. I said, in the third period, we're going to see somebody go off, and Stamkos may have tried to do that with 5 minutes left, but he ends up taking what amounts to a frustration bad penalty. When you're only down 1 goal and it eats up 2 minutes of time you had to come back, and then Lightning were surging. So it just was like too little too late, right?
Yeah, you know what? It was tough. You know, my thing about the game last night. I mean, we just didn't come out. You got to come out right out of the gate. You got to come out like in the first 5 or 10 minutes and just give it to them. Like, I mean, who cares if there's a fight? There's a fight. Yeah. There's a fight. Tanner, drop your gloves maybe and fight somebody. But as the game goes on and it's a 2-0 game, then a 2-1 game, you can't start taking stupid penalties because the game is the game now. So you've got to play it right out of the gate. The first 5 or 10 minutes of the game, that's when you start banging guys and doing stuff that's what it should be. It should have been right out of the gate in the first 5 minutes. Hey, we're going to take these guys. We're going to show them this is our building, and we're going to ram some guys through the boards. It never materialized. It kind of played like we were playing the Phoenix, Arizona Coyotes or whatever. There was just nothing happening. And, then later on the game got closer. But, at the end of the day, the thing that, I mean, we make it 2-1. We're down 2-0. Vazzy lets in, the first goal, Vazzy didn't even see it. And then, then the second goal, it was a great shot by Reinhart. Then we make it 2-1. And the killer was we had a power play. Bobrovsky made some big saves, and so did Vazzy. Vazzy made a couple remarkable saves, but we got a 2-1 lead. We're losing 2-1. I think in the third period, and Reinhart scores a shorthanded goal. That can't happen. Like, I mean, honestly, I've watched that thing a few times right now. I mean, I'm going to say, it doesn't happen hardly ever, but Victor Hedman has to make a play on that guy. Like, he had him, and then he let him go. And then, he made a great shot, but, same as Vazzy, he's down in the butterfly. I mean, the guy made a good shot. But that goal can't go in, not against, Vazzy and Hedman. And in a 2-1 game where we're on the power play, it was just a breakdown, but, stuff like that happens. But at the end of the day, they make it 3-1. Then Mikey Easemont scores to make it 3-2 with a goal, and we have some chances. But, and then take a power penalty late in the game that can't go on. But, I mean, to me, the power play is 0 for 3, doesn't produce. Florida's power play was like, they're irrelevant. They're like, they're 17% or something like that. That's not even worthy of talking about. But, I mean, our power play, there is no power play better in the NHL. And like I said, Kucherov had a goal. Point had a great play, almost scored, but the guys woke up in the third period. But besides the third period, we weren't awake for the game.
Yeah. Now it's concerning. And you mentioned Bobrovsky. That save on Pointer was unbelievable. I thought in the Lightning were 12-9 on high danger chances. So they had more high dangers, more expected goals. So from the stats and the analysis, they had better chances than the Panthers. So it comes down to kind of goaltending and shot making. And Bobrovsky was fantastic. And, Reinhart popped a couple in, which were pretty good skill shots. So that's the difference. But I think the main point is if you come out with a little bit more emotion and physicality and own the home ice, it's a little different. And that's the story of the game.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, we lost a big game to the Panthers 3-2. I mean, I still know it's just after Christmas and stuff like that, but they traveled on the day of game. They flew up here in the morning, and I mean, they've had a lot more adversity than we did. And, but at the end of the day, I mean, the guys got to be ready to play. I mean, we got a couple of days off now, Thursday, Friday, and, the Rangers are coming in Saturday night. They beat Washington 5-1 at home. I think.
Boy, they're good.
So they're going to be coming in ready to go. Then we play Montreal on Sunday, which is New Year's Eve. But, I mean, these are big games. We need to win both these games, the Rangers game and the Montreal game. We have to get 4 points this weekend, and then we go on a trip to Winnipeg, Minnesota, and then Boston. But at the end of the day, you don't like points slip away, but I think we let one slip away last night, especially in a great crowd.
Yeah.
Ready to rock. And, like I said, we talked about it earlier, the Brendan Hagel fight. Like, we don't have that Brendan Hagel fight against Vegas, we don't win that game.
I agree.
And not to say he's got to do that again against Florida, but, we need to have something happen in the game.
Where's Tanner Jeannot been? He hadn't knocked out anybody in months. I mean,
I don't think a lot of guys. I mean, the one thing about Tanner Jeannot, and he's actually a pretty smart player. He makes good plays, but no one wants to fight him. I mean, he wants to fight. But, I was thinking maybe Tom Wilson would fight him in Washington, because he's kind of like a heavyweight with Tanner Jeannot. But there's no one on Florida I think would want to fight him. They know they're going to get smoked. That's the thing. this. But sometimes you might just have to grab somebody and just whale them. And then, hey, we can take a 2-minute penalty early in the game. In the first 10 minutes, you can take a penalty like that. It gets everybody going, but not in the second or third period. But let's just set it. Let's set the precedence right out of the gate here. You know what I mean?
Totally agree with you. Totally agree with you. All right, Brian, great stuff as always, my friend. Look at you on StreamYard. We get to see your handsome face. And let's give him a yes. Congratulations. Yeah. Awesome. See, how was it? That wasn't bad, right?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Hey, we'll do it at morning skate, and we can see all the guys skating around behind you.
I can turn the camera and show you guys, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we see the whole thing.
Let's do that.
Yeah. That'd be awesome.
I can put it on my phone on the app or whatever it is. So
there you go.
I was looking and going like I had my glasses on. I was like, what? I'm going on.
Next thing you know, you're going to be on social media.
Yeah, exactly.
So, he's like, hell no, that ain't happening.
Nope, ain't happening.
Stay off social media. You don't want any part of it. Trust me.
No, I'm not. No. I don't do that.
Yeah, you don't need it. You don't need that.
Anyways,
in your life.
Well, have fun, you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, Brad. You're the best, man. You're the best.
Over now.
Thanks, Brad.
Yeah.
Bye.
All right, Brian Bradley, right there on StreamYard, ladies and gentlemen. A handsome man. He should do more of that. Absolutely.
That was great.
We got Chief and we got Bradley doing StreamYard now. I mean, I think we are definitely becoming a show of record here. We do TV shows every morning. This is fantastic. With the biggest.
By the way, our phone situation's been resolved now. So
what happened?
We're good for Corey.
Okay, good. Because
I've been in bed since Friday night. And I just didn't pay my phone bill. And because I'm at home all the time and I'm on Wi-Fi, I still get text messages, and I had no freaking idea my phone wasn't working. You said that you tried to call me yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I just paid it.
And I was like, oh my God, I think Tim's dead. I think something happened to Tim. Yeah.
Yeah, I might have been dead.
We were sending a welfare check over to the house, make sure. I said, better get the cops over there pretty quick.
So I had the flu. And then strep throat, which I still have the strep throat and the flu here all at the same time.
Oh, you're gutting it out, man.
Been knocking me out, man. It wasn't fun.
Yeah. Well, at least you're a little bit more gritty than Devin White was in Green Bay. You posted. Yeah. Hey, well, he came back and played a hell of a game, which everybody's like, see, he's not a terrible player. I'm like, yes, he is. He just showed you why he's a terrible player. Because he can
turn it on when he wants.
Right, exactly. How do you quit on your team in a contract year? I don't. Wow, and I know he's been hurt, and I guess he's been hurt. I don't know.
We've been told he's been hurt.
He didn't look hurt the other day.
No. Had the game of the year.
Yeah, yeah. You want to play? You got Cooper ready? Let's play Coop in this spot right here for us. Since we're
played well tonight.
Just talking all
did frustration set in at any point? Because it seemed like you guys were getting good looks against him.
Wow, what was the question? Sorry.
Bobrovsky playing well tonight. Did your team get frustrated at all? Because it seemed like you were getting good looks.
He was
initially.
Really good last night.
Scoring didn't start coming till the third.
No, I think No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, we've played against him many a time. He's makes a lot of money in this league for a reason, so he's a good goaltender. But
I think that was a backhanded compliment.
What's frustrating is how the game played out. That's the only frustrating thing. Can't give up a shorthanded goal. Ends up being a game winner. That's unacceptable on our end, and we just had a little bit of a meltdown there at the end, and it cost us.
What did you think of the first two periods? Like, how'd you guys end up in that 2-0 hole?
I don't know. It's like, there probably wasn't. Do I think we could have brought a little bit more emotion to the game? It's a Christmas crowd, and it's a rival, and I thought they got that early goal, and it just, I don't know. It probably took a little air out of our tires. I don't know why. There was so much game left. But I'm not so sure we were, completely physically engaged in this one till we scored. And then I think we played with a little bit more spark that third period, and until we made some some errors at the end, but yeah, it's a little disappointing coming out of the break at home here and to let a cross-state rival come in and beat us on our home ice. That's disappointing.
Coach Vasilevsky didn't have the advantage.
That's what I wanted to hear right there, Tim. So we'll cut it right there. Yeah, and I think he's 100% right. This is just exactly what Brian was talking about. And again, this is not, we're not criticizing the team and saying, they don't have anybody that can do this. I think they do have guys that can do this. They're just not stepping up into those roles. And like I said, sometimes that's new guys come in like an Austin Watson, or even, Geno hasn't been here all that long. And you have a lot of strong personalities in that room, like Sergachev and Kucherov and Vasilevsky, but they're not vocal guys. They're not the crap starters. That was Maroon, that was Corey Perry, and those guys, obviously, when you got cups, you carry a different type of gravitas. Tanner Jeannot doesn't have that. Austin Watson doesn't have that. But you can do it in different ways, and Jeannot can do it on the ice. Last night was a perfect example for him to against a Florida team that doesn't have a great power play. Yeah, like Bradley said, the first period, let's go hit somebody. Let's get people involved in the game. And they were hitting, but not to the ferocity that you would hope to in a game that should carry a little bit more emotion. So, and I think that's, if there's one thing I can point to, because like I said, from a skill standpoint, from a puck management, all those things, the Lightning had more high danger chances, 12-9, not by a large margin, but they did. More expected goals, 2.54 to 2.04, I believe it was. So they played well in spots. Bobrovsky may be a little bit better than Vasi in key points, but it shouldn't have been that way. It should have been a more dominant tipped to the Lightning side, get the crowd into the game, get the emotion into the game, because hockey is so much about that, right? You can really, really tip a game and tip the ice. And you didn't see that. So it's a learning experience for this team. And I think if they're going to do anything, they got to play with that emotion, and they got to play with more physicality, especially against a rival like Florida. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
All right. Before we hit the break, I wanted to get to some of the great commenters, and we got some questions in here as well. First and foremost, shout out to Risha White. JP is the best. You're always going to get on when you do that. Absolutely. Thank you, Risha. Can Bucs be Super Bowl contender if Baker Mayfield keeps playing like this? Yes. If your quarterback has a perfect rating or close to it in every game, you got a pretty good, damn good chance. And it doesn't matter what your name is at this point of the year. All right. It's not like college football, like it's a beauty contest. And if your quarterback goes down, you don't get a chance to play for the national championship. You're seeing backup quarterbacks all over the NFL play really, really well. And, Baker Mayfield was by many, washed up. Nobody wanted him but the Buccaneers, $4 million. Everybody, was saying he sucks. He's not going to be good. Even here locally, you heard a lot of people say that. Oh, he's been on 4 teams in a year. What can you expect? I'm like, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. And yeah, he can play. And I said this a couple of weeks ago when he was playing poorly. He's got a ceiling, obviously, and it's not super high, I think. But when he's playing like this, and that's when I was, he was playing and holding the football. When he plays like the gunslinger that he is and lets it go, his ceiling goes up a lot. So yeah, if he keeps playing with confidence like this, and he's allowed to play with confidence, why not the Bucs at this point? Do I think they're going to win the Super Bowl? No. Do I think they can win a home playoff game? Yeah. Looks like a lot more realistic,
especially if it's against the Dallas Cowboys.
There you go. There you go. Or the Eagles, or
the Eagles,
Minnesota, or whoever else is going to get in the wild card. These bowl games are just bad because all the marquee players have either entered the portal, sitting out, and going to the NFL. Christopher Cole. I mean, Christopher, this is just, you're spot on. It's the most ridiculous system ever. I mean, all of the players have to go into the portal to get settled in their new school, so they can't play in the bowl games. And, and I don't know how first of all, you got to move the portal. You got to move that portal till after the bowl games. That's a no-brainer. You can't, that's a duh. There has to be some way, and I say it's money. Pay the players to play in the bowl games specifically. Stop giving the money to the schools and the conferences, and give the money, or a good portion of the money, to the players to pay them to play in the game. What a concept. And guess what? They'll play. Did anybody offer Jared Verse $100,000 to play in this game? No. Did anybody? And it shouldn't have to come from the NIL. It should come from the bowl. You're making money. You're selling the TV commercials. Who's getting that money? The schools, the conferences, and I know that pays for women's volleyball and men's golf and everything else. I know that, and I get it. But they have to, in this off season, and it has to be now. They got to blow it up, start again, align the conferences geographically, and just, take all the bowl money, put it into a pot, and just make it an NFL money model. Take the football programs out of the university athletic programs, have them be outside organizations that fund the athletic programs like the booster programs. This is all very doable, folks. And that's the way you're going to have to do this. And it's the only way you're going to be able to have to do this. And then the players will play in the bowl games. You'll have a real playoff, and we'll stop all this nonsense. And NIL, that money will be going to the players, because that money will now be collected by the universities in terms of TV deals. Those deals will go through the roof. So there'll be plenty of money to pay the players a good wage and be able to have players play in these bowl games. It's not that hard. There's a lot of moving parts. I get it. But what you have now is complete, utter chaos. And the grown-ups have completely capitulated and screwed the whole pooch here. And it's awful. And what's happening to FSU in this Orange Bowl is exactly the reason everything needs to change.
And you know what, JB? I don't know who watches these bowl games unless you're just a devout fan of the team. Like, I get Florida State, Georgia. Like, I'll watch that, right? That's going to be a competitive game. Obviously, the playoff. But, for instance, last night, I was tasked, because I cover the Aggies for Sports Illustrated, I was tasked with running the live blog, the scoring updates, the play-by-play, right, on our live blog for Texas A&M and Oklahoma State.
Right.
On December 27th in the TaxAct Texas Bowl. I was so uninterested in it. I almost fell asleep in the middle of the game, watching it and scoring it and stuff, right?
Right.
I can't imagine. And I'm posting scores on X and on Threads and all that, I'm part of my job. This morning, as I'm logging in to do your show, I start getting all this backlash from people on Threads, and I've never gotten backlash on Threads before. Dude, why are you live streaming a game or live tweeting a game that nobody's watching? And I'm like, I have to. I get paid to. And everybody's laughing at me, and I'm like, sorry, but dude, I wouldn't have watched that game. And I'm a huge Aggies fan, right? We didn't have any of our players.
Wow.
Everybody's in the portal, or they declared for the draft. Jalen Henderson, the quarterback, who could be the future. Connor Wigman is still our quarterback. He's still hurt, right? Max Johnson transferred with his brother Jake, son of the Tampa great Brad Johnson.
Right.
They're at North Carolina now, right? So he's not starting. So Jalen Henderson, basically our third-string quarterback, started the game. The first play of the game, he breaks his arm. On a freak play, breaks his arm the first play of the game. Enter our fourth-string quarterback, Marcel Reed, a true freshman, great kid, wasn't prepared to play, and they still almost beat Oklahoma State.
Unbelievable.
But still, it was. I think it was like 20-3 at halftime, and they ended up winning. I think 31-23 was the final. But dude, I was just so uninterested the entire night. I didn't even care if the Aggies were going to come back and win. I was just out.
And I don't blame you. Let's take a quick break, and we're going to get Corey Long in here, who covers college football and has been for a long, long time. And I want to get his thoughts on this as well, because this is every one of these. We're the target audience, man.
Yeah.
We're college football freaks, and we don't even watch. Who the hell's watching? These sponsors are paying all this money. Like, sorry, dudes, nobody's watching. Nobody cares. What a fraud! What a fraud it is. Oh my God,
it's bad.
All right, we're brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you want to lose weight, if you want to look great, if you want to feel younger, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Chris Lugo will help you out. They got the True Body Machine. You get hooked up to that. It's like doing 10,000 crunches. That'll lean you up. Testosterone replacement, you got to get that going, guys. Trust me on that. Get your nutrition right. They do it all at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your appointment right through there on the website and turn your whole life around in terms of your health. It's important, guys. BAMMC.com. Back at 3 with Corey Long. Stay with us.
Well, Fitz the Mortgage Guy did it again. A listener heard his ad, was going to another big bank, but called Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services of Tampa, and Fitz saved him $618 on his monthly payment. Are you kidding me? Folks, that's big money. Rates are going up, they're going down, they're going all over the place. Scott will shop your loan and save you lender fees and get the best rates. Email him, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. That's Fitz the Mortgage Guy. Lots of stuff going on right now, and these rates are going all over the place. You need somebody knowledgeable in the market that will work hard for you and get you the best deal. That's my man Scott. He's done 3 loans for me, done thousands of loans for local folks here, works with a lot of the coaches and players in the area. He's the guy. 813-294-7595, or go to scott@amstampa.com.
JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA 2-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com, or call 813-485-6808. Are you tired of those stuffy, overpriced sports bars? Well, come join the fun at the Patio in South Tampa and watch your favorite football teams under the stars in a tropical paradise. Yeah, it's a unique setting with huge wood decks beneath the trees, and don't worry, they have an inside AC bar with all your favorite bar games as well. The Patio has all the NFL and UFC sports packages, and it's home to the Tampa Gator Club and Bills Mafia, but all fans are welcome at any time. Hey, my FSU buddies love to watch the Noles at the Patio. It's also home to a great happy hour. Weekdays, get $4 White Claw vodka drinks and $4 White Claw seltzers, $1 off all beer and wine from 3 to 7:30. And every Friday happy hour, join us for Football Friday. It's our live broadcast from 5 to 7 with tons of specials and the fan mic for you to join the show. We'll have swag and ticket giveaways as well. So come out for the live broadcast 5 to 7 every Friday at the Patio, and come watch football in a tropical paradise all season long. It's 421 South McDill, just a few blocks south of Kennedy. Everyone meets at the Patio.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Thursday as we head towards a big, what amounts to be a playoff game for the Buccaneers against the Saints. Rivalry game, 1 o'clock on Sunday. We got back-to-back Bolts games coming up, and so much great college bowl action. Premier games and superstars to watch. We're not. All right, welcome back for our second hour. We'll bring in our good friend Corey Long, who covers the Bolts. He was there last night, covers the Bucs. See him in the press box there, and, of course, college football.
He's in the building!
What's up, Corey Long? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays, my friend.
Yes, Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. How you doing?
Well,
how's everything?
Getting ready for this scintillating Orange Bowl where I'll be playing left tackle, and Ashley, my fiance, will be playing tight end because nobody's left.
Yeah.
They're going to the crowd. Yeah. You got any eligibility left?
Sadly, no. My eligibility ran out. So I tried. I tried to jump in there to play some nose guard, but they said no. We could use you. First of all, they said we can really use you right now, but no. Yeah. It's when I looked at the depth chart, I was like, boy, it's that level of bad because even some guys that are coming back, like Toafili, decide to get his surgery. And I would assume that, if they were in the playoff, whatever he's dealing with, he would play through it. But obviously they said, we need you healthy for the spring. So, it's that. And it stinks because I'm actually I would be excited to see some of the, they've done a pretty good job at recruiting receivers, and a lot of these young guys like Hakeem Williams, Vandarius Jacobs, obviously Destin Hill, some others are going to get a chance to play and get some extended snaps. But I don't really know how Brocklin's going to get them the football, if he's going to have time to get them the football, doesn't have the confidence to get him the football, if Norvell doesn't have the confidence in him to get him the football. So, it's really going to be a bad game. Boy, it's going to be a bad game.
Well, and Corey, and think about this. This is not, and like I said, this is not the Tax Act Gator Slayer Bowl or whatever the hell. This is the Orange Bowl. This is the Orange Bowl. It is a New Year's 6-day game that's not being played on New Year's. It's the 5th and the 6th ranked teams, and this is $1 billion industry, college football. This is we're talking about major multi-million-dollar sponsorships on a major network, blah 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 blah. And you got kids. This is what amounts to a spring game for Florida State.
Yeah,
I mean this does not work.
Yeah.
This does not work.
No, it doesn't. And that's why they had to expand the playoffs. I'm sure that's why they wish they could have expanded them this year to solve a lot of problems. It doesn't work. And you can't, at the end of the day, how are you going to make this game worthwhile for Jared Verse to play? And how are you going to make this game worthwhile for Keon Coleman to play? And how are you going to do that?
Can you pay? How much? What do you think it would cost to get Jared Verse to play in this game? $100,000?
Probably.
Then pay him. What are teams getting? Like $8 to $10 million FSU gets for going to the Orange Bowl? Pay him. Pay the players cash money. What's your price? And I don't know. I don't know if is there a sliding scale based on NIL? What your NIL percentage is? I don't know how you do it, but guys can just
deal with it player by player.
Yeah, go player by player. What's it going to cost, Jared? Oh, I'll do it for $100,000. Okay, here you go. Yeah. Keon, what do you want? $200,000. It's too much. How about $150,000? Okay, done. Let's go down the list, and guys will play, right? I don't know. Maybe is it worth it?
I would think some would. I don't know that you'd still get those upper echelon, Jared Verse versus looking at being like a top 15 pick in the NFL draft is 150. He's probably getting more than that from whatever agency that's going to sign him not to play. But when you think about it, you've got a lot of kids that are maybe second day picks, maybe third day picks, Fabian Lovett types that aren't playing. And I get it in the sense that it's someone was mentioning Jarian Jones isn't playing. Is Jarian Jones going to get drafted? I don't know. Maybe he's a 5th round, 6th round kid, depending on what he does at the combine or what he does at pro day. But I look at it like this. There's tons of film out there on Jarian Jones. He's been damn near a 4-year starter at FSU. Right. If you want to know whatever you think of him, you think of him already. One team is thinking of it. However, if he gets injured, he's now a broken kid. And this is the thing is the NFL, as we know, as big fans, is there's no more unforgiving league on earth than the NFL.
Right.
There's no more unforgiving league for any level of weakness, any bad medical, anything. So I get it. I get why even the kids that you look at and say he might be able to improve his draft stock with a good game. I get why they're not playing because they don't say. I started 27 games. So, you can look at any one of those games and and tell me what you think of me at this point. So it's hard. And, and part of it is sometimes these things, the idea of you just playing young kids, it can work out. Like last night, it worked out well for USC. They had a kid named Miller Moss, who was a pretty highly recruited quarterback. They start him. Now they're probably out of the transfer quarterback market. They probably saved themselves $1 million last night. They don't have to run out and pay Will Howard or try to fight to get Cam Ward or DJU or one of these other. It's not and they're decent QBs out there, but it's not a great QB transfer market.
Right.
If you got an in-house guy that can throw 6 touchdowns, you probably are better off working out a good NIL deal with that kid, knowing that he's already in the program. So
yeah, you're gonna have to pay him after that performance. So
you got to go back to but it's easier because he's already in-house.
Yeah, exactly.
So. Yeah,
Corey,
so
how do we fix this? Like, and to me, it has to be done yesterday. Like, and I know you've got so many entanglements with these television deals and these conferences. So those are a lot of legal contracts that need to be blown up, because to me, there needs to be one commissioner, one entity, and it can't be run by ESPN. By the way, it has to be an autonomous group with a commissioner made up of a board, from the major conferences. And that, that has to be the model. And I don't trust any of these people to get it done efficiently. It's going to be bloated and people being paid ridiculous salaries for doing little, but there's got to be an umbrella. It has to be under one umbrella. They've got to take the football programs out of the athletic programs and have them be a money-making entity like the booster groups are to feed the other athletics. You can still do that. But I think that's the only way you save college football. You bring it under umbrella. The NIL money now can come into this collective and then get paid out in cash to the players. I think that's a fair model. It's an NFL model. The players need a union, just like the NFL, to represent them. And that's let's just call it what it is, what it's been for 25, 30 years. Professional football. Am I wrong?
Well, and you're not wrong. When you saw me, we've been doing radio together for 20 years, and many times I've said that I was worried about the state of college football because you just know how much money's involved, and you know how many hands are in the pot, and how many of those hands really should not be in the pot is so much of the problem. There's so many guys that are getting rich beyond their means for doing absolutely nothing other than ruining the game. They're just literally they bring nothing to the table. I've long since, for the last few years, I've suggested, I'll give you a name. I suggested Jim Tressel as being the first guy that could really kind of be the college football czar. And you say, why? And I say, Jim Tressel has experience both as a coach at this level. He was at Ohio State. He was a coach at Youngstown State. He is a school president now. He understands a lot of different elements between the student athlete, the football side, the money-making side, balancing the academics. There's a lot that has to be done. I think you need somebody that kind of understands this from a lot of different angles. Maybe not him, but somebody of that note that can really that can give you a lot of different, that can understand it from a lot of different sides.
Yeah.
The NIL thing has to change. The portal thing has to change. With the NIL, I've always said the kids didn't ask for this. This was a situation the NCAA, who are now finally getting smart enough, or not necessarily the NCAA, people that run college football, the college football decision makers who have finally gotten smart enough to realize they can't keep going to the courts. They're getting their asses kicked.
Exactly.
Every time they go to the courts, they lose something else. First, it was the NIL. Then it was the transfer portal. Now you can transfer as many times as you want.
Well, it was evident. It was evident that they were going to lose all that stuff because it's inherently unfair.
But that's the problem when you got guys that are used to having everything they want, decide they're going to battle you legally. They don't know how stupid they don't know how broken their situation is. It's not.
They're so arrogant. They figure that they have all the money and all the riches and the best attorneys, that they're just going to steamroll whoever. And God bless these, judges who have stood up for and some congressmen as well who have stood up for these players. My favorite line was by John Kennedy from Louisiana. If you saw this last go round where the new NCAA muckety muck, forget his name, he was the mayor or the governor of Massachusetts, some bloated bureaucrat that's gotten rich off the public dole their entire freaking life. He comes in there like, we need to take control of this and the money in the NIL because the players are out of control. And John Kennedy's like, let me ask you a question. So you're coming in here telling us that suddenly the players are doing good and they're getting paid and they're making money. The money's not going to you anymore, and you have a problem with that? Explain that to me. Like, and he's like, yeah, exactly. You, finally, but at least that let's bring some sanity and some obviousness to this. And it's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think they realized how much power they had they just been a little bit more flexible.
Exactly.
It's this idea of that. Okay, you want to get compensated. Now we can put in academic safeguards. We can put in safeguards on behavior. We can put in different safeguards, and we can tier this based on players and years and how many years you have in the program and your eligibility and all of these things. And we can control the whole thing. And players would have been like, cool, we're getting some money, everybody's happy.
Exactly.
Instead, again, like I said, the problem is when the people that are fighting didn't realize how broken their system was and said, we want it all. We've got it all.
Yeah,
we want it all. It's ours. It's ours. It's ours. So this is what you get. It's unfortunate. I don't see how FSU is going to score on Saturday. Unless Carson Beck gives them a freebie or two, I just don't see it.
I'm not even going to watch. I was offered free tickets to the game last night, and I said, no, thank you. I'm not even going to watch the game. I don't even care.
Honestly, at this point, if I'm Mike Norvell, I might just rotate all the skilled players and just call a bunch of 24 dives all game. We're not going to give you the satisfaction of a watchable football game.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah,
I just think they should take a knee. Go out there and take a knee every snap, because I don't want the kids getting hurt. I don't want to get the kids getting hurt. And if Georgia wants to score 1,000 points and every time they snap the ball, take a knee. Let them run up and down the field and just make a mockery of the whole thing, because that's what you did. That's what you did, college football.
Yeah.
You made a mockery of this game. I'm not going to sit there and pretend we can call it a game and get steamrolled anyway. Wouldn't that be awesome if FSU just took a knee?
If they treated it like the Pro Bowl from like 2017 that led to a guy just wouldn't tackle. It was like, nah, I ain't tackling you, man. Whatever.
Yeah, just let him go. Yeah, make a mockery of the entire thing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that happened, if Vegas would pay out. Would Vegas have to pay out?
They would have to, right?
I guess they'd have to. I mean, yeah.
They're on the field and they're playing, and they're actually playing a game. Like
they would eliminate every. They would take live betting off the board right away, though. Exactly. Right away. Yeah, you would not have any live betting. Anybody has a ticket, good luck. But if you have live betting,
do you think if they did that? Do you think? Florida State would just get murdered. Norvell would get murdered.
Yeah.
In the public opinion, I don't think they should, because it's not their fault. This is not their fault. This should be laid at the feet of these bureaucrats, these college football bureaucrats, and the SEC and ESPN, by the way, as well. And I think a lot of these players, if they're really held to the mat, they'd say, "Listen, why do I want to go out there and provide entertainment for ESPN, who just screwed us? Why would I do that?"
Who told us we weren't? He told us we did everything we were supposed to do, and we weren't good enough to play in the two games that matter. Why are we giving these guys anything? All that being said, I do credit the young men that are out there that are going to play. They're going to play hard. They're going to try. A lot of these guys, you look at a player like Josh Burrell, who's been in the program 3-4 years, never really gotten an opportunity. He's going to be probably in a spot to get some touches and good for him, because those guys practice. They do scout teams.
Yeah.
They've done so. It really. It would be funny if they did go out there and sabotage things, but the kids that are out there playing and practicing, they're gonna do the best they can.
Yeah, and it's gonna be sad though, because they're gonna get steamrolled, and that's sad.
Yeah, it is, and it is gonna be unfortunate, but at the same time, for them and for the fans that are going, really, love those kids up that are out there, that are going to go out there and wear that, because they're going to play with pride. They're going to do the best they can, and they've worked very hard. And some of them are just this might be their last game plan. That they might end up being deciding to transfer afterwards to play another level or whatever. But they wanted to be out there. You know, and there's some that aren't playing that will probably wanted to be out there that just decided it was against their best interest. But the ones that are out there, it's going to be I think they're going to give everything they've got. Hopefully they can have some moments of success to enjoy, because they deserve it. It's 13-0. This was a season they've done so much, and you hate it's just the way it's ending is just it's so disheartening.
Yep, you're absolutely right. Any quick thoughts on the Lightning, what you saw last night?
At times it was a tremendously fun hockey game. At times they did some head scratching things. I mean, you just can't give up a shorthanded goal down 2-1 in the third. I mean, you just can't. Like, you cannot. Hammond almost had to take a penalty there before giving up that goal. You know,
yeah, I agree.
Before letting Reinhart fight him up, he's almost got to just drag him down and just say, we got to keep this thing 2-1. I thought they. Bobrovsky really played out of his mind, and
he did.
And then sometimes you get a goalie like that, he's going to do it. But at times I thought they were a little. It felt like a game after taking a 3 or 4 day break. It's unfortunate. I was, obviously you're hoping that they could have gotten that third one in, at least gotten a point, kind of kept this nice run going. But a couple days off. See if Sergachev can get back in the lineup. I'm worried about Stamkos, -3. No one can tell me this contract situation isn't really starting to affect the way he's playing out there. He just seems to not be in it. So, and I don't know how we're going to fix that. So,
yeah.
I don't know
that's
how to fix that.
What was he a minus? What's his plus minus now? Like -17 or something this year?
-15. He's tied for tops in the league with Sergachev, which you expect with Sergachev as a defenseman who takes a lot of chances.
Right.
You can kind of go up or down, but Stamkos being he's not hurt. I can tell that, but he's just not. I just think he's just some frustration there, and he's just struggling to.
You think he's pissed off?
Yeah, he's angry. He got angry last night, and he had a reason to be there. He got taken down. He was, but you can see that frustration coming to a boil, and he hasn't spoken as much to us this year. There's a lot of things that I think he's got to get off his chest. So I'm hoping he can kind of, whatever it is, he can kind of say it, and he'll get back to playing the hockey that we know he can play, even at this stage of his career.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that situation. And I know going forward, obviously an older player, but you're seeing Sidney Crosby be very productive into his mid to late 30s, right? Is there precedent to pay him a huge dollar contract here? What do you think?
I think the way this organization is run these days, I just don't see him leaving. Like I was saying, I don't see, this organization being run by Jeff Bennick, the way that they want to treasure these players and these fans. I just don't see a cornerstone guy like this leaving unless he really wants to leave. Unless he said, I want to, be a free agent and maybe try to go somewhere else. But I think, and like the Sidney Crosby example it's a great example. Like Sidney Crosby is going to be a Penguin. Like he's not going to play anywhere else.
Right.
Like that's not going to happen. He's not going to end up like Wayne Gretzky, where he's going to end up in the St. Louis Blues for a year. Like it's just not going to happen. So,
but that said, Corey, Pittsburgh has not been relevant for what, 4 years, 5 years?
And I think I think they look at that, and it's just like that's the switch off. That's the trade off for, in their case, winning 3 Stanley Cups. This is a trade off for what we. For really this tremendous run. You can go all the way back to 2015. I mean, you're talking if the trade-off is being, is having your cornerstone guy for a couple of years, and that, that got you to, 4 Cup finals, 7 Eastern Conference final, all this other stuff, then is it, it's probably worth it, frankly. At the end of the day, it probably is worth it because you're not going to win every year.
No. Totally agree with that. And also we talked about this, and Bradley was on earlier and he mentioned it to me last night. And I think it's worthy of discussion. He said, Maroon and Corey Perry were the crap starters. When things were down and they needed to get this team going and fire them up and call people out. Those were the guys that went around the locker room and kicked ass, and they had the gravitas to do so. Do we see that guy? And this is not a criticism of the organization or the players that they have, because I think they have guys to do that, but maybe they're not doing it for whatever reason, and they need to step up and be more physical, be more vocal, be more, because we know Cooch and Vassie and Sergachev and Hedman are not those guys, and Stamkos to that really isn't that guy either, right? Who are those guys? Are they missing them?
Yeah, a little bit, because you look at the guys, and there's some tremendous leaders. I think Braden Point's a great leader, but he's not a loud, vocal, screaming guy. He's just not. Right. It's not what he's made of. But, he's probably going to be the captain of this team sooner than later, at some point, during his career. You look on that back end, there's some young kids, there's some veterans. I mean, can Connor Sherry be that guy? Can Luke Glendenning, some guys that are, some rougher guys that have some time in the league, can they be the guys? I don't know. I mean, they don't, Corey Perry was a former MVP in this league, a Stanley Cup winner. When he said something, it still carried a lot of weight. Pat Maroon, was on a lot of winning teams. So when he says something, it carries a lot of weight. It's tough right now because, Sherry's been was on some very good teams, and these guys know how to win. But yeah, I think you do want that guy that can really kind of get the locker room a little riled up. And I think they're you can tell that they're missing that. They're missing that intensity. They're missing that intensity in the room, and it shows up on the ice at times.
I agree.
Not to say, all these guys, Sorelli, these guys, they're very good players, and they're good, and you're happy to have them, and they can do a lot of things, but no, they're not that. They just, that vocal side just isn't there. They're all very
emotional leader.
They're all very tempered in the way that they approach the game. So I look up and down, and it's like, I don't know. Maybe, Nick Paul, another guy, very tempered in a way, very.
Yeah, they're all super nice guys. Maybe this is a Dave Andreychuk moment. They need to go bring somebody in at the deadline. Obviously, they're strapped at cap. It's going to have to be a dollar for dollar trade. But bring in somebody like that might be on the, back nine of their career, but still can play but will be that voice, will be that, ass kicking voice, and maybe something to watch at the deadline. We'll see.
Absolutely. I think so. I think it is. I'll see you I'll see you Saturday, I guess.
Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. We'll be cohabitating at all the games.
Are you doing the day night on Sunday?
Yes,
as well?
I am. Yeah. With the kids.
Oh,
bringing the fiance and the kids. Yeah.
Oh, well, it'll be a lot of fun. Oh, congratulations to you, by the way.
Thank you very much.
That's a wonderful thing. Congratulations. I'm sure you told everybody, so I don't have to tell everybody.
Yes, no, we had Ashley on the show yesterday. I had to show her beautiful face on the show. Say, look at this woman. She really said yes to me. Can you believe this, people? I have proof right here.
I tell her we're going to get a GoFundMe together for eye surgery. It will happen.
I always go out. Yeah, glaucoma is always a key. That's always a key.
It's something that it's just rough. It's going around.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta take what you get. All right, thanks, brother. Appreciate it, Corey. We'll see you this weekend.
All right.
God bless.
Thank you. I'll see you this weekend. Bye
bye. A very lucky man. I know how to play my cards. All right, quick break. When we come back, TJ Rives is scheduled to join us. Bucs sideline guy, always fun. We'll be talking some Buccaneers. Obviously, he's a big college football guy. We'll get into some of that. And Russell Wilson is as well. He's getting let go by the Broncos. Interesting. Wonder where he's going to land. All that and more when we come back. We're brought to you by the Golden Diamond Source. Their after Christmas sale is on, folks. 50% off everything. That's right. I said 50% off of everything in the store. That's the diamonds, the bracelets, the rings, the watches, everything 50% off. Go check it out. It's their huge after Christmas sale. Bring those gift cards in and cash in, folks. It's the Golden Diamond Source. Remember, 3 to 5 year interest-free financing as well. So get that New Year's ring. You want to get the engagement like I did. Just got my ring from the Golden Diamond Source. Yeah, there it is right there, baby. New Year's Eve, great time to do it. All right, back in 3. Stay with us.
All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com.
Hey, the holidays are almost here, so take advantage of our layaway offer at the Gold and Diamond Source. Reserve your favorite piece now and pay in easy installments, making your holiday shopping stress-free. And engagement season is here as well, and we've got the largest selection of engagement rings, so visit us to find that perfect ring for that special moment. Looking for financing options? How big a ring can you get when we give you 3 to 5 years interest-free financing to make your dream jewelry more affordable? So this November, make sure you choose the Gold and Diamond Source for jewelry that's always stylish and unique, because your special someone deserves something to be thankful for, right? Find the perfect gift at the Gold and Diamond Source. Don't settle for factory-made imitations, folks. Make sure it's a Gold and Diamond Source diamond for a truly special piece of jewelry. It's the best folks in the world, Julie and Steve Weintraub at the Gold and Diamond Source, 4800 Ulmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. JP here for my good friends at Italiano Insurance, and they did it again. Once again, Italiano Insurance stepping up with the best customer service. I was in a bind. My old insurance company, my auto insurance, jacked up my rates, so I called Charity at Italiano Insurance, and she stayed till 9:30 at night until she got my insurance done. And guess what? She searched all these companies for me. I didn't do the work. She did. Saved me $1,000 on my annual premium. $1,000, folks. That's real money. And that's what you get at Italiano Insurance. Great customer service. And here's another note for you, by the way, with hurricane season up. 40% of people in Florida are underinsured. That means if you have something happen during a hurricane and you need replacement costs, you're going to get 40% less than you deserve. Can't let that happen. Call the folks at Italiano Insurance and get them to help you out in both those regards. They will save you money and keep you insured properly. That's 813-877-7799. Great folks in the community, been doing it for over 60 years. Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799.
Coming back at you. Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. Our great folks at Synovus Bank, our friends over there. John Acosta, one of the great managers, been in the business, banking business since 1983 here locally, and that's what they do at Synovus. It's a big bank with a very local feel. A lot of the folks have been working in local banking for decades, like John. Great folks over there. If you want to do change your business banking to Synovus, highly recommend that. Personal banking over to Synovus. You'll get that small bank feel from a big bank that can carry all the complex transactions. So check them out.
Synovus in Texas.
What's that?
I wish we had Synovus in Texas.
Yeah, you need some of that. Great folks over there. Really, when you walk in, you get that feel of a very, very local bank, and that's because they've hired a lot of local people that lived here and been living here for a long, long time. So get that feel at Synovus.com. Just go on over to your local bank there and tell them JP sent you, and ask for John Acosta. If he's not there, tell him he needs to get there soon.
Banker's
Someone
hours.
like John will come out and then give you a great service. So it's Synovus Bank. All right, we're waiting the arrival of our good friend TJ Rives. Actually, I got to send him an invite. I'm not sure if I did that. So
he's probably waiting.
Yeah, that's my bad. So tell us what's going on with Dallas while I do this, my friend. What do the Cowboys got this week?
The Cowboys have the Detroit Lions, and the reason they're going to win, JP, is because they're playing at AT&T Stadium.
Oh yeah.
No, but it's a big matchup between the North clinching now. By the way, here's an interesting tidbit for you that maybe some people in Dallas know. The last time the Lions won a playoff game I believe, was against the Cowboys in 1992.
Are you kidding me?
No.
1992.
They were the last team to beat the Cowboys before they went on their Super Bowl run.
So that was Barry Sanders and
yeah.
Herman Moore in that group?
Yeah.
By the way, the Barry Sanders doc on Netflix.
Wayne Fonts.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that Barry Sanders Bye-Bye Bear, that was amazing, dude. That was an amazing show. I went into it with pretty skeptical about it, but it was just, man, it brought back a lot of memories, a lot of nostalgia. The old Silver Dome.
Well, he was so good.
Incredible.
He was so hard to tackle. Unbelievable. Not that, he's the next Barry Sanders, but I watched some of these young running backs. Jameer Gibbs. I don't know if you've watched a lot of him this year, but holy crap, this guy is, an A-chain before he got hurt. There's these smaller guys, these smaller, super fast guys you're seeing come into the league. But nobody like Barry Sanders. Barry was 5'7", 210, 205. I mean, he was just a freaking bowling ball. He was so low to the ground, and that he could move any way he needed to move. But then when you got your hands on him, and he had those big freaking shoulder pads too, it's just impossible to tackle him. It's impossible to tackle him.
Couldn't get your arms around him at all.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the biggest thing for me that I took away from, and I think I knew some of this, at least to an extent, back when it was happening, but the fact that he just didn't give a crap about personal glory, about his own numbers, his own stats.
Yeah.
Because I can remember that game, his rookie season, when he came out of the game 9 yards short of the rushing record for the year. Christian Okoye had the rushing record for yardage that year. The Kansas City game was over. The Lions still had the whole entire fourth quarter to play that day, and Barry Sanders was 9 yards short. He only needed 9 yards, and he benched himself.
Yeah.
And coach is like, Barry, you're not, we got a whole fourth quarter to play. Barry says, Coach, what's the score? And they were up by like 25.
Yeah.
He said, Coach, the game's done. That's all I care about. We're going to win the game. Put some young guy, put somebody else in the game. But then they flashed back to in high school. He did that in high school as well because he had a chance to set the Kansas State rushing title, right, for high school career yards. And he was like 20 yards short of that. And they had an entire half to play, and they were up on the other team like 60-7. And Barry's like, no, Coach, I'm good. We're going to win the game. Put some of these guys behind me in.
Yeah.
He just doesn't give a crap, man. And that's awesome.
And just, what a different world we live in today. What a different world we live in today. And it's sad in so many levels. Russell Wilson, interesting story here, has basically been playing the entire season knowing that the Broncos were going to move on from him. Mm-hmm. And this contract that he signed, and I remember when they did it, I was like, what are they doing? Like, what is Denver doing? And this was when if I'm not mistaken, wasn't this when the new ownership group came in?
The contract was signed under the old ownership group.
Oh, the old ownership group. Okay.
Yeah, before the Walmart people bought it.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the Walmart people have more money than anyone should be allowed to have.
Right.
But my God, this is, what they gave up to Seattle to get him. And I've always been a Russell Wilson fan, but no player is worth this much. No player in a salary cap league is worth this much money because it handicaps you in so many other ways. And you've got to have draft picks to continue. This is why what the Bucs did was so smart with Baker Mayfield. I mean, and Russell's not having a bad year. He's 7th in the league in quarterback rating. He's thrown for just over 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions, a 98 passer rating. That's 7th in the league. But he's owed $85 million over the next 2 years, guaranteed, that they're going to have to take in dead money. Or I think the total is $76 million in dead money over the next 2 years. I mean, they do it all in 1 year, but you decimate your team, but they can do it in 2 years. The Broncos are going to be hamstrung for two more years. And Russell Wilson is 35 years old. Sean Payton clearly wants to move on. Jarrett Stidham's going to play now, and it's they still have a chance to make the playoffs, although it's slim. It's 7-8. But what a disastrous. But it's also, I think, a very instructive for other organizations, and the Bucs in particular. You don't go out and break the bank to get these quarterbacks. You just don't. The roster is so much more important to me. I mean, you could sit there and say that, and Patrick Mahomes is winning titles, but that looks, now that they have the Taylor Swift curse.
Yeah.
Look the out. Yoko Ono Taylor Swift curse. It looks like Patrick Mahomes is a has-been. So, and you look at their receiver core, they're decimated and they suck. And one guy cannot carry a team, even Patrick Mahomes. And he looks like he's lost his confidence. So, the Bucs look like they're in a really good spot where they've taken their charge on Brady, can move on, and we'll see what they do with the quarterback position.
Well, here's the deal with Denver, and we're going to get to TJ here in just a second as he's waiting patiently as I ramble on about Russell Wilson. But that Sean Payton went into that job saying Russell's not my guy.
Right.
I'll keep him here this year, but we need to figure something else out. And look, they started 1-5, right? He looked terrible. Yeah. They played better in the middle of the season. Sometimes they won in spite of Russell Wilson, who I think his career is over. I think it was coming into Denver. Yeah. He's lost whatever he had and
he's 35.
Whatever
he can't move like
magic
he used
was.
To. Yeah.
Right.
Well, he's just 35, and he always got by. He's had a great arm, could do it from the pocket, but his big plays always came with his incredible escapability. I mean, watching him play, he was a magician. As we bring in the great TJ Rives, speaking of magicians, as he pops in, and you watch Russell play his entire career. You've been on the sideline watching him play, and there were just moments where he just, would make moves and you just like, holy hell, this guy's unbelievable. And then throw it on a dime. That was his game. He's 35 years old. He can't play that way anymore.
Yeah,
right?
we watched him.
Welcome.
We watched him ruin the good morning, happy New Year. We watched him ruin the Buccaneers a couple of times in Seattle. They had a 21-point comeback one year and won the game in overtime. He made a play in front of me, to your point, and this is again going back like 10, 12 years ago. So I'm on the left of the Buccaneer bench. He's rolling to his left at about midfield, and I want to say it was Tyler Lockett, but it may have been a more farther back receiver from 10 years ago. Whoever it was a blur coming off my left periphery. All right, big word. He's coming right to the sideline. Russell Wilson's rolling to his left and threw a bullet, an absolute dime to a specific spot, toe tap right in front of me, and you're like, holy crap. Yeah. How do you defend that? You got him rolling the wrong way. That day is dead. Yeah. He doesn't have that anymore. He doesn't have that ability anymore. And the one thing I keep thinking in watching this before we move on to the BUC, CANEERS, Go Bucs, is welcome to pro sports. What have you done for me lately? And if you can't do it anymore, it doesn't matter what you did before. When you say it's still a game for you, they say it's a business. The fact that he and his representatives negotiated that ridiculous amount of money and injury guarantees, it set this into motion, because the key part of what they're doing is they don't want him to get hurt, because if he gets hurt here in the final couple of games when they don't make the playoffs, it literally triggers like 25 million more guaranteed. Right. So they are looking at it as you aren't worth it, and you definitely aren't worth 25 million more guaranteed if you get hurt in these last two games. So there, and I now have better understanding, because I've watched some Denver stuff with the explanation of what was that blow up on the sideline against New England about. I believe it was New England game, or the blow up when they came off the field, and what it was apparently about, according to other players and team sources, is Russell Wilson is hesitant to change the play to check to something else, and it is driving Sean Payton absolutely crazy. Why? Because we lived it on the wrong end in the NFC South with Drew Brees, that he would tell Drew Brees, either run A, B, or if you feel frisky, run C, check to it. And Drew Brees would check to the correct play and kill everybody. And apparently Russell Wilson can't do that. So that blow up that has been very famously shown on the internet, NFL Network and ESPN, that's apparently what that was about. Something to the effect of, how many bleeping times do I have to go over with you? Check to the other play. That's basically what that was about.
Yeah.
While we kick another field goal, the 89th time we've kicked a field goal in goal-to-go situations.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's them. That's their mess. That contract is their mess.
Well, it's a good segue.
Cheers to the Denver Broncos. Good luck. Good luck to you.
It's a good segue into how the Bucs handled the quarterback position in this offseason. And they had a chance to go probably get Derek Carr, but said, you know what, how much worse is Baker Mayfield than Derek Carr? Probably not. In terms of contract, how much worse is it? Oof, wow.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, let's just eat this Brady money. see what we got in Baker Mayfield and go from there. And now the salary cap is what do they got? 76 million, I think, next year the Bucs do. And they've got some players to play, but this is what happens when you play out a season. And as much as we wanted to pay Mike Evans in the offseason, we just didn't have enough information. Like, how are you going to play this year, Mike Evans? Oh, you're still playing at a Hall of Fame level.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then we feel comfortable giving you Devontae Adams money moving forward. You showed us. Thank you very much. Baker Mayfield, we're going to have to pay a quarterback. Well, we're going to have to pay a quarterback, but it looks like we're not going to have to pay him $65 million a year. We got somebody that I think we can maybe, 25 or 30.
Sure.
And gets it and wants to stay here and wants to pay Mike Evans.
You're absolutely right. You can't pay, under your premise, you can't pay everybody 20, 30 million. Devin White wanted his in the offseason. Antoine Winfield, is about to get paid big time. Tristan Wirfs is going to be due a massive deal coming up as the new left tackle. So you're taking all of these things into account, and you got a quarterback on a prove-it contract, a $4 million, essentially minimum wage prove-it contract, and he's going to hit some of those incentives to get it up to like 6 or 7 million, it looks like. But that is nothing. The car hit this year for the same, right? The car hits like 45 million. Daniel Jones is like a $47 million hit. 10 million or 10 times as much. 10 times as much for the play that you've gotten out of number 6. And I know you've been talking about this yesterday and today. He has elevated his play at the right time. I mean, we were all wondering in that Carolina game, it maybe Kyle Trask time here? You got to win these games. They're struggling. And he hit that ball to Mike Evans on a laser throw, catch and run. And since then, for 3.5 games, the offense has moved, scored points, and won games at the right time, which is what you want. And so now you've got a lot of confidence, and you got to finish the job. I keep joking. Timmy, you know this. I sat here for months in August and September and October. I'm saying it again. Get me to the end of the year where you're in range for the 8th win, the 9th win. We're there. Yep. We're there. Now finish it off. Finish it off. Yep. Get the 9th win. There we go.
And this Saints team, I feel everybody's like, oh, we're in the playoffs. You got to win one out of the next 2. So
correct.
Yeah, if you blow this opportunity, then
shame on you. Yeah, shame on you all.
So, but I think a lot of Bucs fans are like, oh, we'll beat the Saints. I'm like, all right, slow down. Even though they don't have Michael Thomas, no Lattimore, the Bucs might be missing some people, but getting healthier. I like the Bucs to win the game. I'm going to pick them to win the game, but this is no sure thing. The Saints are coming here with their season on the line. Their defense is still very good, and their offense has moments. Carr's played a little better recently. So this is still a very formidable foe, is it not?
They are a dangerous team, and they have been a nemesis of this team, and even at Raymond James Stadium. I mean, I stood there in horror in the 2021 season in that first half where, speaking of Drew Brees, remember Sunday Night Football where I'll tell you a funny story. So, again, we were restricted that year. I'm trying to remember if it was the 2020 year, wasn't it? The 2020 year on Sunday Night Football, because I was down in the front row on the blowout. Yes, I was down in the front row of Raymond James Stadium. The COVID year, not allowed to be on the field. And so they had one of those fan video things set up in the end zone with Buccaneer fans on it. And as the first half became 17-0, 24-0, 31-0 in the first half, they're still showing those Buccaneer fans over there. 2 or 3 of them had left their camera position like this. They're just gone. They're just gone. They had the dude doing the surrender cobra for like a whole series, like was over. We had another guy going like this, and I'm like, if this doesn't sum it up. So your point is this has been a nemesis. This has been a nemesis of the Buccaneers at times. Drive the stake through the heart like Dracula here. Get it done at home to where you do not have to worry about anything in that final game. You don't want to go to Carolina having to worry about anything. It's essentially a preseason game. And I really believe for all the buildup you're going to hear in the next 2 or 3 days about Saints this, defense that, they're a damaged team. They are damaged goods. And if you come in much like Jacksonville last week and you do positive things in the first quarter and the second quarter, they're going to check out. They're going to say, we know we're done. Derek Carr may be one and done as the quarterback and gone. Dennis Allen may be gone as the coach. I just don't see a lot of fight in them if you get up 10-0 or 13-0, just like last week. What do you think of that?
I like that scenario. And I think there's some quit in the Saints. I don't think there's any question about that. It's not a harmonious group. But I get a bad feeling about the Bucs because sometimes we can't stand prosperity.
True.
We won 4 in a row, and we'll go into this game overconfident, like, oh, the Saints are imploding. We got this with home game. We got to win 1 out of 2. And there won't be the requisite intensity that we've seen the last 4 weeks.
But honestly, I don't think guys like Levante David, who's vocal, Shaq Barrett, a veteran who's vocal, even Evans might speak up. Baker Mayfield is a leader too.
Yes.
Guys, we cannot take the foot off the gas here. Be ready to go. You got a lot of guys that understand that it takes winning games in December and early January to make the playoffs. And Baker did that in Cleveland and got them in the playoffs, and they won a playoff game. And there are numerous guys, we know this, on this team that understood you had to win those last 4 games in 2020 to make the playoffs and win the Super Bowl. And you came back around in 2021, a lot of these same guys again, and won game after game at the end of the year to win the division, get a home playoff game. So I think some things will be said by the veterans this week and are being said on just finish this. Be smart, take care of the ball, don't commit dumb penalties, let the Saints do what they've been doing, which is implode in a lot of ways. And then let's have a lot of fun on New Year's Eve because you've clinched the division and you've passed out hats and shirts that say NFC South champs, and you get a home game in the playoffs. We love that for New Year's.
Well, and I think this all comes down to where the game is, right? Especially for these two teams. Tampa Bay plays much as most teams do, plays better. They're over 500 at home, right? Saints are under 500 on the road. I get it. It's a rivalry game, and I don't care if it's an AFC West rivalry, an NFC East rivalry, whatever. NFC South still has the rivalries. And Saints are the biggest rivalry in the conference or in the division for I don't live in that division, but that's my understanding. That
and again, Tim, to the point, they have largely lorded over, you like that phrase, the Buccaneers in the regular season for about the last 6 or 7 years. The record ain't good head-to-head against them. Now, you did get the big win in the 2020 playoffs. Drew Brees' last game, by the way, is a loss to the Buccaneers. But they've lorded over the Bucs in the regular season. But you've got a chance, again, to deal them a blow that ends their playoff hopes. You're at home. It's going to be jacked up. To your point, it is a rivalry, but you can't go in there thinking New Orleans is going to completely lay down. You're going to have to knock them down. You're going to have to knock them down Sunday.
Well, and here's the deal, too. This might be one of the few games for the Bucs that I'm not concerned about Todd Bowles being outcoached.
By Dennis Allen.
All right. Look, Dennis Allen's an Aggie. I love Dennis Allen. He's one of these guys, though, better coordinator than a coach, just like Bowles is. I'm not worried about Todd Bowles being outcoached.
But, JP, I like your thought process here that Todd Bowles has realized, including going for a 4th down early last week. We talked about that on your postgame.
He's coaching
with Peter after the game. He's begun to coach differently and realize at the end of the year, let's take a couple of risks here in this situation.
I love it.
And so if you stay aggressive and with that mentality, I think you're going to be good because again, taking care of the ball has been one of the unsung things here. The Buccaneers are not setting the other team up like Jacksonville set the Bucs up last week for 21
takeaways.
21 points off the takeaways in this game. So let's see
the thing, man.
What this looks like.
I've seen Todd Bowles, in the micro, get up 2 scores. He shuts down the offense. Going to win the game 10-9 in the second quarter, and it doesn't work in the NFL.
It's kind of like what the Carolina home game and then the Atlanta road game both were, where you're like up 6-3, 12-10 in Atlanta. You're up 12-10, and you got to have the mentality. I need touchdowns.
Yes,
they got touchdowns in Atlanta.
They got foot on the gas.
They got touchdowns in Green Bay, and they put an extra touchdown on the board in the third quarter Sunday to make it 27-0.
Keep scoring. You don't win these games, 17-13. Early in the third quarter, you're up. No, keep the foot on the gas. And this team is not uber talented enough defensively to hold leads. They're just not. And he's played soft when he gets a two-score lead. And so but the last few weeks, he hasn't done that. He hasn't done that the last few weeks. He's kept coming after him defensively and kept coming offensively. And that is the key in this league. You cannot sit on a lead. If you're playing well and you're moving the football, why stop yourself? If you're playing well defensively and getting turnovers, okay, I'm up 2 scores. Let's go back into the shell. No, keep coming. You can't. Don't stop doing what's working. And this is working right now. And until I see Bowles keep the foot down within games and within the season, I'm still a little nervous. So
all right. Well,
let's hope.
Let's see how it plays out this way. I do know this. I love 29 points in Atlanta, 34 points in Green Bay, 30 points last week. And don't think we've forgotten about you, Timmy, and the Dallas Cowboys, who could very likely be coming here if the Buccaneers finish this off, because this is a different team at the end of this season in scoring points than what it was last year. So that's going to be fascinating if we get to that. But you don't get to any of that until you win one more. So get one more Sunday. My friend, I know you got to go. Congrats on your nuptials. Beautiful stuff.
Thank you.
We know she's the best looking one, and she's obviously the brains. I've been watching the show on your parlay bets. You need to listen to her on the parlay bets.
I'm making money now.
And so that's what it's all about. Let's have fun. Everybody be safe. Let's be loud. Let's be loud on Sunday for what this could be a great afternoon. Put the dagger in the Saints. Are you kidding me? To win the South at home. What more could you ask for? Let's go get it, and Happy New Year, everybody.
And you'll meet the lovely Ashley and the kids on Sunday. We'll be there down on the field.
I look forward to it. Let's be talking about a Buccaneer win. I pledge to not bother you until next year. Can I bother you next year?
Yes.
I'll bother you next year for next week on the show, brother.
All right, brother. Sounds good. Thank you. The great TJ Rives. All right, another fun, spectacular day here on the JP Peterson Show. We had great guests. We got Brian Bradley on StreamYard, for God's sakes.
How crazy was that?
That was fantastic.
He didn't look very comfortable either, by the way.
He got into it. At first it was a little awkward, and then he got into it.
Wasn't a lot of eye contact.
And now he's excited. He's like, "Yeah, we'll do this at. I can show you guys when we go to the morning skate." I'm like, "Yeah, right.
Cool.
This is it's cool, right?" So yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please tell your friends to find the show. If there's Tampa Bay sports fans, they'll love the show. Our numbers are growing tremendously. We thank you all for sharing it. I talk to you all at Lamberley Arena everywhere I go. So it's really great. We're getting a lot of momentum. Thank you guys so much. Subscribe, like, podcast, YouTube, all that great stuff. Timmy, thank you for playing hurt today, buddy. Love you,
pleasure.
my man. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you all tomorrow. Nick Geddes will join me then. Have a great day.